Let's learn more about direct speech. This is Jim. Jim has got a book. He says, "This book is really interesting." Let's write Jim's words in direct speech. "This book is really interesting," said Jim. The word "said" is often used in direct speech. We can also use better words instead of using the word "said" very often. "This book is really interesting," shouted Jim. "This book is really interesting," whispered Jim. "This book is really interesting," exclaimed Jim. "This book is really interesting," yelled Jim. "This book is really interesting," declared Jim. We can express Jim's words in different ways. So remember, there are many words that we can use instead of the word "said" when writing direct speech sentences. Now, let's move on to more patterns of direct speech. Split or interrupted sentences. Sometimes we come across long spoken sentences. Look at this sentence. "The moon is very big," said Jim, "although it seems small." Jim speaks quite a long sentence, but it's split into two parts. First, Jim said, "The moon is very big." And then he continues to speak saying, "although it seems small." So, the spoken words here are clearly shown using speech marks or inverted commas. Now, let's have a deep look at the punctuation marks in split or interrupted sentences. "There are some difficult words," were the first thing that Jim grumbled. So, it's shown using inverted commas and a comma before the said word grumbled. But after the speaker's name, there is a comma. So this comma indicates that the speaker has not stopped. He's going to say something more. What else he said? So I must use the dictionary. And the second set of words are also shown by using inverted commas and ended with a full stop as the long sentence comes to an end. Let me show you another split sentence. "Now I know about the moon," yelled Jim. "Look at my drawing." Now, what special things did you notice here? There's a full stop after the speaker's name. Let me explain why. In the first two sentences, Jim continued to speak. So the rest of the spoken words began by conjunctions. Although, and so. We use conjunctions to join sentences. So, to indicate that Jim continues to speak, or because Jim wants to say something more, a comma was added. But in the last sentence, Jim speaks two separate sentences. First, he yelled, "Now I know about the moon." And then he shows his drawing and says, "Look at my drawing." A capital letter at the beginning of a sentence shows that it's a new sentence. Though Jim continued to talk here, he speaks a new sentence. So that's the reason why a full stop was used. So, if the second part begins with a conjunction or a simple letter, it will follow a comma. And if the second part begins with a capital letter, it will follow a full stop. When you happen to write a conversation in direct speech, remember to begin a new line for a new person, even if one word is spoken. Now, look at this conversation between Kate and her mother. "I don't really want to learn how to cook," said Kate. "Don't worry, darling," consoled Mom. "I'll help you." "How much I try," sobbed Kate. "It won't be tasty." "First look how I do," said Mom. "Oh, now I got it," shouted Kate. "Nothing than trying, my dear," advised Mom. Look how the conversation was set out. Did you notice how Kate's words were kept separated from what her mother said? So, remember, in a conversation between two or more speakers, to begin new lines for each new speaker. Hope you enjoyed learning different patterns of direct speech.